everyone. I'm Dr. Evelyn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My guest here today is Maryann Petri, the author of the book series Raised by These Wolves, and also the host of Slam the Gavel podcast. Maryann, how are you?
I'm doing great, Evelyn. Thank you so much for having me back on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to have you back with us today. We have an extremely important topic today. We're going to talk about how to go pro se in court. Pro se means to represent yourself in family court. Maryann, my first question is, why does family court feel so different from what people expect justice to look like? What's your opinion on that?
My opinion is that the family court is not real justice. This is not a real courtroom. This is all theater, and these attorneys are acting like actors on a stage, and there is no justice for anyone in there.
Must say I agree with you. I fought for justice for 14 years and have not gotten justice. As a matter of fact, no one has been disciplined, really, in my situation.
Mm-hmm.
One person has been disciplined, but I'm waiting for the others.
It will
At what
come.
I'm waiting patiently. I think I'm going on my 7th year waiting, as a matter of fact.
Well,
At what point did you realize the system itself was causing the harm?
as soon as I walked in there, as soon as the opposing attorney opened his mouth, I knew it was nothing but harm. Unfortunately, I learned a lot from him and my own counsel, who torpedoed my own case.
Go into detail, Maryann. What happened in that situation?
Well, whoever starts talking first and shoots out the best lie at that time will win the case. A lot of people don't understand this concept, but my opposing counsel automatically said she's mentally ill and she's alienating the kids from the father. I didn't even understand what that word was. I had to go home and look it up. Then, on top of that, compounding that was my attorney really couldn't fight the battle because the judge and the opposing attorneys had been BFFs in the Erie County Courthouse for years. They used to work in the DA's department for years until the one became a judge, so they all knew each other. So it was all rigged and planned, and that's how they run family court.
Well, in my situation, when my first attorney didn't show up to court, I thought that I was going to have a chance to be redeemed. But when they went into the temporary orders, they entered those orders and those orders were never changed. So there was no way for me to be redeemed. There was no way for anything to be changed. It was set in stone at the temporary hearing where I showed up without a lawyer and I had to defend myself against a licensed opposing attorney. Imagine that in family court.
Okay, so people walk into family court thinking there's going to be justice there just because there's a judge in a robe. There is no justice there. It's all rigged before parents walk in there. And who's going to lose? The child and the target parent.
Target parent. Define the target parent for us, please, Maryann. What is the target parent?
Target parent is the one that they know already they're going to take custody from because the judge and the opposing attorney have worked together in the DA's department for years, and they're doing each other favors. And if they get the poor person in there, it doesn't matter how much money you make or not make. It's already a done deal.
I believe that. It's already been discussed. It's already been planned. And that's how everything is going to go down, just the way they planned it. Is that what you saw in your case? And if so, I saw the same thing in my case when I was kind of naive at the time when I went to court. Like I said, I believed, like every other person in the United States, hey, I have a paid attorney. I'm going to get a fair trial. It never happened. This situation started in 2009. It's 2026. It never happened. And it never will. It never will.
And I'm so sorry that happened to you, and this is happening to parents on a hourly basis going into any family court across the United States and global. This is worse than any epidemic possible, and they are just allowing this to happen to good parents and children.
And they are destroying society, in my opinion.
And I think it's by design that this is a well-oiled piece of machinery to destroy this country from the inside out using the family unit as a means of doing so.
And that is sad whenever we say that we love our country and we love people. No, family court loves your
Oh,
pockets.
yes,
And
yes.
they love when your rights are just trampled upon and you don't know any better. That's what
Mhm.
they like. That's what the system likes, I believe.
And they also you'll hear parents say, "The judge will listen to the kid when they're 14, 15." No, they won't. They'll listen to the kid, and then they'll go back and entertain their false narrative of how this case is gonna play out.
I agree with that, Maryann. Why, in your opinion, why in family court is it particularly dangerous for survivors of domestic violence?
Because there is a lot of retaliation involved within these family courtrooms. So whatever is said, a person can find themselves being gang stalked. They speak out. They go on a podcast. They go on social media like TikTok or Instagram. They're immediately thrashed for speaking their truth.
Know that it was a dangerous place for me as a domestic violence survivor. Day one, when we went into court, I made it known, even as I stood there by myself in a family court room
Mhm.
without an attorney. I informed the court that I was experiencing domestic violence. And it meant nothing. I was forced away from the marital home, which that was part of the plan for me to have to exit the marital home. I believe my attorney was not there. I was
Mhm.
thinking, well, my former attorney advised me to just leave my child there. And I did exactly what they advised me to do. And guess
Wow.
what? That child stayed in that home and I never gained custody. And I am the one that was experiencing domestic violence for 12 years. In my opinion, the South Carolina Family Court wanted to hide the fact that I was a domestic violence survivor. That's what they wanted to do.
Right.
Maryann, going into family court, it was a very difficult task. How did you stay sane?
Well, bear in mind, I had CPS involved, which is OCY here over in Pennsylvania. So that was already in motion prior to going into family court. So I went to my family doctor and I said, "Can I go see this psychiatrist? Because I need to be on something for anxiety and depression." And he said, "Great. He's a great doctor." So I went to him and he did put me on you know, Klonopin and Wellbutrin, and that helped calm me down. So when I would go in there, I would be calm and be able to rationalize what was kind of going on in there without breaking down and crying. And it had a second combination to that medication, which I didn't know about because after 3 judges and an ex-husband caused a major heart attack, my cardiologist walked in and he said, "It's a good thing you were on Klonopin or this heart attack would have been far worse than it
Oh,
was." So
I'm glad.
I said, "Why?" Because I had been a cardiac nurse for from 2002 to 2012, and I never knew this, but Klonopin has a property in it to disturb plaque buildup.
Well, guess what? God was looking out for you, Maryann.
Right, I
He
know
knew
people are
exactly what you
resistant.
needed.
Right, definitely. I know people resist going to a doctor for that type of thing, but I've always had this fear of well, I don't know what to say about that.
You've had a concern about what?
Well, people,
Being labeled or something?
well, you're gonna be labeled anyway. So, okay, so when you walk in there, when the opposing attorney said she's crazy and she's alienating the kids from the father, so you're already gonna be called crazy, and they don't even know
Yeah.
you're on this medication yet. So it just made me stronger, and I think the opposing attorney wondered why he couldn't break me. Well, he couldn't break me because I was under control.
Well, I developed strength through all the hard times that I had in the past, and I internalized everything. I
Mhm.
developed the autoimmune disease called Graves' disease,
Mm,
hyperthyroidism during
mm,
my time in family court. And I also developed some anxiety problems, but with my job, I cannot take those type medications and I was not taking any.
mm,
I was prescribed some, but I could not take it
mm,
because I don't drink or anything like that, and it would have really interfered with my performance. So I
mhm,
just prayed and internalized everything and
mhm.
fought. I started concentrating. I don't know what happened to me when I got under all that stress. It's like my concentration was heightened and I was in fight mode. That's
Me
what
too.
happened with me.
Yeah.
They wanted to break me too, but I'm
No.
still sitting here.
I stood there, I mean, I stood up for myself. Whenever the opposing attorney opened his mouth, I was taking notes and just writing exactly very quickly what he was saying. I was more on the ball in there than I've ever been in my life. Like you said, it's heightened. It really is.
I think it's some type of autonomic response. And with you being a mother, it's something internal that happens
Mhm.
that causes you to say, I got to fight this. I know that's what happened to me. Did you feel that way too?
I didn't know what to think. I knew I had to fight this for what the boys wanted. I was just in it's like everything was moving I was moving automatically. I can't describe that, but I was just like, "Okay, so we're doing this next," and I just did not have any emotion, probably because of that medication, but it helped me do everything that I needed to do and deal with a very I hate to use the word mentally ill, but that's the only way I can describe the opposing attorney because he's sick. To put an individual through that, people aren't mentally built to handle that type of verbal abuse.
From what I understand, Marianne, we had to remove our emotions out of the way because if our emotions would have kept being involved, we would have folded.
Right. Right.
We had to remove our emotions. And I think if I'm not an attorney, but I believe they are trained not to have their emotions involved.
Right.
Well, excuse me, supposed to be.
It's supposed to be, yes.
Let me correct that. Let me ask you this. We've just discussed with you how important it is to go pro se. And if you have an attorney, do your homework. We're running out of time, but in the next conversation that we have, we're going to be talking about exactly how to go pro se and represent yourself.